A lot of people in this country are waking up to the fact that Silicon Valley monopolies are bad for America. They're bad for the economy. They're bad for our culture. They destroy the Bill of Rights. Nothing about monopolies is good, and that's why we have a lot of antitrust legislation on the book. Teddy Roosevelt saved America by breaking up the monopolies more than 100 years ago. And we may get there. The Senate has just confirmed someone called Lina Khan to lead the Federal Trade Commission. That's a big headline in Silicon Valley. Lina Khan has vowed to reshape antitrust law to take down the big tech monopolies, to break them up. She's written law review articles outlining all of Amazon's predatory practices, for example, and how to change policy to stop them. Good for her. This past week, members of both parties announced their support for a package of antitrust legislation, long overdue. Monopolies, clear monopolies like Google and Amazon and Apple and Facebook, would likely be broken up if these laws were enacted. One bill is called the Ending Platform Monopolies Act, and it would break up companies that use their control over one market, like e-commerce, to extort and ultimately destroy competitors in other industries. This is what monopolies do every time. Again, you can't have a free market with monopolies. That's Econ 101. So you'd think that House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy would be pretty excited by all of this. He's a capitalist. He's been telling you he's very worried about the dangers of big tech monopolies for years, and now there's bipartisan support to do something about it. Weirdly, though, Kevin McCarthy is opposed to this antitrust legislation. Why is that? How can that be? We're not sure. Here's one potential explanation. Kevin McCarthy's top outside advisor is a man called Jeff Miller. Who is Jeff Miller? Well, he's a registered lobbyist for Amazon and Apple. Making a lot of money doing that. Financial records show that Amazon Web Services has paid Miller's firm more than $400,000 in recent years. What's Amazon Web Services? Those are the people who host the entire internet. And if they don't like you for political reasons, like they didn't like Parler, they just turn off the lights and shut you down, stop your business. They can do that, and they have. Apple, meanwhile, has paid Miller's firm more than $600,000 from 2019 to 2021. Congressional sources tell this show that Miller has been calling Republican offices on Capitol Hill and asking them not to support the House antitrust bills. This is Kevin McCarthy's closest advisor. Are you shocked that Kevin McCarthy is doing what his corporate clients want him to do? Maybe you shouldn't be. This is the guy who was roommates with Frank Luntz. Luntz is the guy who advised Purdue Pharma in writing on ways to blame the opioid addicts who were dying of fentanyl for their own deaths. Kevin McCarthy has been publicly advertising his services to big tech for years. In a 2014 profile in Politico, for example, McCarthy was described as the self-appointed ambassador to Silicon Valley for House Republicans, in charge of, quote, trying to woo the industry. So he's making good on those promises. The problem is that the tech monopolies are actually a threat to the country. If you care about democracy, you need to break up the monopolies. If you care about the economy, same thing. McCarthy's not doing that. Instead, he's busy tweeting about Juneteenth. Maybe he doesn't want you to notice that an FTC commissioner, appointed by Democrats, by the way, is doing more to break up these monopolies than the Republican leader of the House of Representatives. And that is a very depressing fact. Let's hope it changes soon.